I think you must be aware that when we integrate a lot of those primitive reflexes, the integration of those reflexes helps us in helping the higher functions like the postural reactions and equilibrium reactions and higher lifelong reflexes to emerge. When the primitive reflexes are present, even if they are present in a weakened form, they affect the development of higher functions. So I wanted to talk about a little bit about the hand reflexes and especially the Bapkin reflex today. So Bapkin is a hand mouth reflex, and there are many reflexes that are around the mouth and around the hand and around the feet, which if they are unintegrated will affect the development of functions that are required to be done by hands or mouth. So one example is Bapkin reflex. So Bapkin is a hand mouth reflex, as I told you. So the Bapkin reflex usually integrates by 2 to 4 months of age in a normal development. But if the reflex is present beyond that age, and as I said, it's a hand and a mouth reflex, then it will affect the development and function. So for example, if the child is doing, say, cutting, for example, you'll see that the child's mouth would go like this, or the tongue may stick out, or you see the head also turn on to one side. So you'll see that any movement of the hand, even if I'm writing, these kinds of movements would happen along while the child is, if this reflex is present. So integration of this Bapkin reflex is very important. Bapkin reflex transforms, every reflex transforms into a lifelong reflex. So Bapkin transforms into bonding reflex. Bonding is a lifelong reflex where we learn to bond with others, so to have that emotional connection, to have that connection with others is very important. And if this reflex is unintegrated, then the ability to bond with others or to connect with others would be affected also. So a lot of hand reflexes also work on, they are a part of Moro reflex, which is a defensive reflex. Now, why I'm sharing all of it is that if I see the Bapkin reflex present in a child, there would be issues which are related to articulation, speech. Speech would be difficult. Articulation is the clarity of speech would be difficult. Expressing thoughts, in writing would be very difficult. And as I mentioned earlier, because Bapkin transforms into the lifelong bonding reflex, forming attachment, forming a relationship, forming a bond with others, it could be peers, family members, would also be difficult. So this is one of the reflex, and there are many other reflexes which are related to hand, like the palmar grasp reflex. There can be hands pulling reflex. There's something called hand supporting reflex. There are feet reflexes which also play an important role, like Babinski reflex, the infant plantar reflex. So there are many reflexes, and as I mentioned, Moro reflex and fear paralysis reflex, which are very important. So all of them, when we work on these reflexes, while we work on sensory integration, and as we do these things together, we provide opportunities to a child so that the child is able to, write and do those functions that our fine motor skills are supposed to do. So when we do these three things together, you would see a lot of gains in the child. Issues related to chewing, pocketing of food, being very sensitive around the mouth, not allowing brushing teeth, wanting to hold something in the hand all the time, wanting to not touch sticky, gooey things, not wanting to walk on textures which are very different. So these are some, not understanding boundaries, not willing to be out and learn and explore, but want to be into their own self and space. These are some of the things that we would observe if these reflexes are unintegrated. So I wanted to share these things with you because I'm conducting a course which starts from June 29th. It's called Boost Oral Motor Fine Motor Skills. And it will teach you how to integrate these reflexes. It will teach you the techniques and how we do it in occupational therapy. What are the exercises along with reflexes? What are the exercises that we can do on a day-to-day basis? What are the opportunities that we need to provide so that these reflexes can get integrated? So it's going to be a combination of everything. And I would love to welcome you if you feel these are some of the things that you're struggling with your child. I hope to see you there. Take care.